Long-Term Care Seed is MRW's weekly 10-minute long-term care sales chat. We want to give you a seed you can plant with a prospect that will grow into a revenue-generating long-term care planning opportunity. Hello, my name is Tom Vassallo with MRW Financial Brokerage, and thank you for taking the time to participate in this week's Long-Term Care Seed. In this week's Long-Term Care Seed, we're going to discuss the consequences of self-funding long-term care expenses. Many of us have high net worth clients that have the assets to self-fund long-term care, and we've seen a significant number of high net worth individuals choosing to leverage long-term care once they understand the consequences of self-funding. To help you communicate this, we've developed this one-pager. With this one-pager, we can, of course, brand it with all of your contact information, and it has the integrated videos in it. So let's go through this and see some of these videos and how they help communicate the consequences of self-funding long-term care. One of the things people have to understand is funding a future long-term care need is a cash flow event, not an asset. There are costs and consequences in converting assets to cash flow. If you take a look at the cost of Tampa, St. Pete, and Clearwater here, if we were talking to, say, a 62-year-old couple, today that average blended cost of care is $73,866 a month. 20 years from now, when they're age 82 and likely going to need these policies, it's going to be north of $10,000 a month in additional spending. And when you have one spouse that needs care and another spouse trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle and retirement expenses, that is a large cash flow drain. And of course, there are costs and consequences associated with self-funding long-term care. And that's what this one-pager really helps develop. So let's look at consequence number one, future long-term care taxes. The state of Washington implemented the CARES Act, and there are many other states that have legislation that's currently being discussed that could impact your clients' tax planning and actually create an additional tax if they do not own a long-term care policy. Let's take a look at this quick video and see how it communicates that topic.
Today we delve into a crucial development in long-term care planning, pertinent to astute individuals like yourself. Recent trends show that as many as 19 states are contemplating a legislative model akin to Washington State's CARES Act. This model requires an additional tax be paid by those individuals that do not own qualified long-term care insurance. This shift represents a significant turn in how long-term care is approached, particularly from a financial and tax planning perspective. It's imperative to understand that potential future legislation could escalate taxes for those who opt to self-fund their long-term care. Let's delve into why asset-based long-term care plans are becoming a key consideration. These plans not only offer a buffer against rising care costs, but also provide potential tax advantages. For those self-funding, this means navigating a possibly higher tax terrain in the coming years. A critical point to ponder is the precedent set by Washington. Residents had a limited window to secure long-term care insurance to circumvent the payroll tax. This scenario could very well be mirrored in other states. Asset-based long-term care plans stand out, especially for business owners, offering immediate tax benefits. More importantly, they may shield you from future tax increments, as demonstrated in Washington. To capitalize on these exemptions, proactive action is key, as these states may mandate having a long-term care policy in place before the law takes effect. Now let's address the benefits these plans offer. Beyond financial incentives, they ensure that your care needs are met without depleting your hard-earned assets. This foresight allows for a more stable and secure retirement phase, free from the anxiety of unforeseen healthcare costs. Incorporating asset-based long-term care plans into your financial strategy is not just a safety net, but a forward-thinking move. In closing, as we witness states grappling with the challenges of funding long-term care, the importance of personal proactive planning becomes paramount. Asset-based long-term care plans are more than just a safeguard. They are a strategic tool in your financial arsenal, empowering you to navigate the evolving tax landscape with confidence. Remember, in the realm of long-term care, preparedness is not just about securing your future. It's about crafting it with foresight and wisdom. Thank you for your time And here's to making informed choices for a secure tomorrow.
Consequence number 2 is, of course, tax exposure risk. Depending upon where your client's assets are, there are tax implications in converting those assets to cash flow. Let's take a look at this video and see how that is communicated to the client.
Now let's focus on a critical yet often underestimated aspect of retirement planning for high net worth individuals: the tax consequences of converting assets to fund long-term care expenses. When retirement planning, it's vital to understand how converting your assets to cover long-term care needs can significantly impact your tax situation. Let's break down each of these tax consequences. First, consider the impact of withdrawing from IRAs or pensions. These withdrawals increase your ordinary income, potentially pushing you into a higher tax bracket. This can lead to a considerable increase in your overall tax liability, especially when you're funding unexpected long-term care expenses. Next is the effect on Social Security benefits. Many retirees are surprised to find out that their Social Security benefits may become taxable due to increased income from asset liquidation to cover long-term care costs. This can result in a significant portion of your benefits being taxed, further increasing your tax liability. Another key factor is the increase in Medicare Part B and Part D premiums. Higher income resulting from asset liquidation to fund long-term care costs can lead to increased Medicare premium surcharges, thereby reducing your net retirement income. This often overlooked aspect can additionally increase your tax liability. Then, there's the net investment income tax. Liquidating assets to fund long-term care costs can elevate your income, subjecting you to an additional 3.8% tax on investment income if it exceeds the specified thresholds. This tax can take a significant bite out of your investment returns, especially in the context of long-term care funding. Furthermore, the alternative minimum tax becomes a concern. The AMT is designed to ensure high-income individuals contribute their fair share of taxes. Increased income from asset liquidation to fund long-term care costs can trigger this tax, leading to a complex and often higher tax scenario. The fact is, liquidating assets to fund long-term care costs can have cascading tax effects. Each financial decision, from withdrawing retirement funds to liquidating investments, can have a compounding effect on your overall tax liability. To navigate these complex tax waters, strategic proactive planning is essential. Balancing income sources and understanding the timing and type of asset liquidation are crucial. We recommend working with financial experts who specialize in long-term care planning for retirees to develop a personalized strategy that minimizes your tax burden while ensuring your long-term care needs are met. In summary, preparing for long-term care expenses as a high net worth individual involves more than just setting aside funds. It's about comprehensively understanding and managing the tax implications of funding these expenses. Plan wisely to ensure your retirement years are both comfortable and financially sound.
Consequence number 3 is a loss of step-up in basis. Many people have capitally appreciated assets, and what happens when we need to convert those capitally appreciated assets into a monthly cash flow to fund long-term care? Once again, let's take a look at the video.
For many affluent retirees, the desire to leave a substantial legacy to their children and grandchildren is a significant concern. Often, this legacy comprises capital gain property, such as stocks, mutual funds, business assets, and real estate. Let's explore this through an example. Imagine Jack, who bought 1,000 shares of ABC Company stock at $300 per share. Over time, the stock's value skyrockets to $800 per share, representing a substantial unrealized capital gain. Now, if Jack were to sell these shares during his lifetime, he would face a hefty capital gains tax on the profit. But there's an often overlooked aspect of estate planning that comes into play here: the step-up in basis. Upon Jack's passing, these capital assets become part of his estate. The crucial factor here is that these assets receive what's known as a step-up in basis. This means that the cost basis of the assets is stepped up to their current market value at the time of Jack's death. Consequently, when Jack's daughter Jill inherits these stocks, her basis in them is $800 per share, matching the market value. If she sells them at this price, she owes no capital gains tax, preserving the full value of the inheritance. This step up in basis can have an immense impact on transferring wealth to the next generation. In Jack's case, if the stocks pass to Jill upon his death, the tax on a $500,000 capital gain, roughly $75,000, is completely avoided. However, there's a significant risk here for those considering self-funding their long-term care. If Jack, for instance, liquidates these assets to cover long-term care costs, not only does he incur capital gains tax, but he also disrupts the potential for a step-up in basis for his beneficiaries. The outcome? A considerable portion of the wealth he intended to pass on is eroded by taxes. This scenario underscores the importance of strategic long-term care planning. It's not just about ensuring you have the means to cover potential care costs. It's also about preserving and maximizing the wealth you pass on to your loved ones. As high net worth individuals, it's crucial to explore avenues that protect your assets while providing for your future needs. We encourage you to consult with your financial advisors to discuss strategies that align with your goals, ensuring your legacy is preserved and passed on as you intend. We hope this insight assists in guiding your future planning decisions.
Consequence number 4 is sequence of return risk. Of course, we have no control over when one of our clients may need long-term care. And what happens if it's 2008 when the market takes a significant decline and we're having to liquidate assets while the market is done to fund that additional cash flow expense? Once again, let's take a look at this video.
Let's focus on a vital aspect of financial preparedness: understanding the impact of market volatility on long-term care planning. For high net worth individuals, this is particularly crucial, as it involves safeguarding your assets against unforeseen healthcare costs. Let's consider this. You've successfully managed your assets, but have you factored in the unpredictable nature of long-term care needs? Unlike other retirement expenses, you can't predict the timing of a long-term care event. This uncertainty, coupled with market volatility, creates a unique challenge. Imagine this scenario. You or a loved one suddenly requires long-term care, but it coincides with a market downturn. Converting your assets into cash flow to fund these expenses during such a period can be financially detrimental. The cost isn't just the care itself, but also the potential loss from selling investments at low market values.
When my parents needed long-term care, it was during a market low. Liquidating their assets then was not only stressful, but also less profitable. It was a hard lesson in timing and market risks.
This is where strategic planning becomes essential. One effective approach is incorporating an asset-based long-term care plan into your financial strategy. These plans offer a safeguard, providing a reliable, tax-efficient cash flow for long-term care independent of market conditions. With asset-based long-term care plans, you convert a portion of your assets into a policy that grows over time. When you need long-term care, the plan provides funds, ensuring you don't have to liquidate other investments, especially during market lows. In conclusion, it's essential to plan for long-term care with an eye on market volatility. You can't predict when care will be needed, but you can prepare for how to fund it without compromising your financial well-being. An asset-based long-term care plan is a smart solution, providing peace of mind and financial stability no matter what the market holds. I encourage you to speak with your financial advisor to integrate this into your long-term care strategy.
Consequence number 5 is chances to leverage business income. We have many business owners, whether they're pass-through entities like an S corporation, LLC, partnership, or sole proprietorship, or a C corporation, that will come to us and say, you know what, we understand we can get some tax deductions for funding long-term care, and all of the benefits are tax-free. Can you put together a plan designed not based on the cost of care, but based on maximizing the tax deduction we can get from the business? Once again, let's take a look at how this video communicates that to your client.
I'm here to talk to business owners who are considering the future and the implications of long-term care costs. You've worked hard to accumulate your wealth, and now it's time to protect it. Not just for today, but for all your tomorrows. By choosing to self-fund potential long-term care expenses without a qualified asset-based long-term care plan, you could be overlooking significant tax incentives that the government provides to savvy business owners. When you self-fund, you pay out of pocket for care. This means liquidating assets, which can lead to increased taxes, impacting your Social Security, incurring Medicare surcharges, and more. It's like navigating a financial maze without a map. Now, let's consider the alternative, using a qualified long-term care plan. Here's where the government steps in, offering tax incentives designed specifically for business owners. These incentives are not just small print in a tax code. They are substantial benefits that can protect your financial legacy. Under current tax laws, premiums paid for qualified long-term care plans may be deductible. That's a direct reduction in your taxable income. And the best part? The benefits you receive from these plans are tax-free. It's a clear win-win. With an asset-based long-term care plan that includes qualified long-term care premiums, you're not just planning for the unexpected, you're securing your assets against it with pre-tax dollars. Consider this. As a business owner, you have the unique opportunity to leverage these tax incentives. It's not about spending more, it's about spending smarter. By integrating a qualified asset-based long-term care plan into your financial strategy, you harness the power of tax planning to safeguard your assets. You worked hard for your success. Now let's work smart to protect it. Explore the advantages of a government-incentivized, qualified asset-based long-term care plan. Talk to your financial advisor about how these tax benefits can serve your long-term interests and secure the lifestyle you've earned. Don't miss out on valuable tax incentives. Secure your future today with a qualified asset-based long-term care plan.
And consequence number 6 is when trust assets may be inefficiently used. We've had a lot of people that have done estate tax planning. Let's see how those trust assets, if they're used inefficiently, especially in an irrevocable trust, how they may be leveraged for long-term care.
Let's delve into a subject that may resonate with you as a high net worth individual: the future of your estate planning, particularly concerning your irrevocable life insurance trust, or ILIT. For many, ILITs were established under a different tax era, designed to protect your estate from liquidity constraints due to taxes. But as laws evolve, your ILIT may no longer serve its initial role due to the increased estate tax exemption thresholds. Let's consider the traditional path. You might be contemplating using your accumulated assets to self-fund any future long-term care needs. It seems straightforward, but this approach may lead to the unnecessary erosion of the wealth you've meticulously built. Liquidating assets to fund long-term care can trigger tax consequences, diminish your estate's value, and ultimately reduce the legacy you leave behind. However, within your existing ILIT lies the potential to pivot strategically. Through a Section 1035 exchange, you can transform your ILIT into a vehicle that not only continues to provide life insurance benefits, but also extends to cover long-term care expenses. This move can amplify the leverage of every dollar spent on premiums, offering a dual-purpose solution that enhances your estate's efficiency. By leveraging the assets within your ILIT, you gain significant advantages. The trust can handle long-term care costs directly, maintaining the growth trajectory of your personal assets. Or it can offer loans to you for these expenses, with potential tax benefits upon repayment. Let's delve deeper into the tax implications. Trusts face steep tax rates even with modest income levels, which can stifle asset growth and diminish the value passed on to heirs. By incorporating an asset-based LTC policy, you effectively sidestep this hurdle. The trust's assets grow tax-deferred within the policy, and should long-term care be necessary, the payouts are tax-free, preserving the wealth within your estate. This strategic shift in your ILIT's purpose, from solely estate liquidity to a more dynamic tool for estate enhancement and long-term care coverage, is a testament to forward thinking. It's not merely about preservation anymore. It's about proactive amplification of your estate's capabilities. Envision a retirement unburdened by the worry of diminishing your estate due to long-term care costs. Your ILIT, restructured with an asset-based LTC policy, can assure that your wealth is not just protected, but poised for continued growth. Reach out to your financial advisor to discuss how you can revitalize your ILIT, leveraging it not just as a shield, but as a powerful tool for estate expansion and long-term care readiness. Let's redefine the future of your legacy.
So as you can see, this one-pager really does a great job for that high net worth client in explaining some of the consequences of self-funding long-term care expenses. All 6 of these consequences may not apply to your client. They may not be in a state that's considering legislation on additional taxes for people that don't own long-term care. They may not have a business. So you really need to decide with your client what their funding mechanism is going to be, how they're going to fund long-term care, and then you can play the appropriate videos for them and some of the consequences they use based on the asset that they choose to fund long-term care expenses. Once again, thank you for participating in this episode of Long-Term Care Seed. My name is Tom Vassallo with MRW Financial Brokerage. I look forward to working with you. Please have a great day. Bye now. Long-Term Care Seed is MRW's weekly 10-minute long-term care sales chat. We want to give you a seed you can plant with a prospect that will grow into a revenue-generating long-term care planning opportunity.